Hi, I'm here with Gail, who works at Athersley Community Shop, to discuss the topic of online safety and families, because Gail works with a lot of families in the Athersley community and just wants to find out a little bit more about the topic. So then...
So we do, yeah, we work with lots of families and cover lots and lots of different topics. We're helping them with all sorts of aspects of their life. But one of the things that is maybe a concern is about online safety. So, and why you think it's important, and myself I think it's important, and what can we do about it to encourage people to make sure that the children are safe?
Well, it's one of those risks which I feel is a community responsibility. It's not just down to the children, it's not just down to the schools. Parents have an absolute key role to play. The reason why it's become more of an important topic is online offences against children and vulnerable people is at an all-time high.
Right, yes.
So it's a difficult topic to talk about, but it's something that's so important to talk about. So some of the problems that occur with the online world, there's the issue of grooming. So the rather traumatic Nathan and Bethany storyline on Coronation Street is a strand. Something called sexting. Quite a lot of young people feel they've been hassled into sending like topless pictures or semi-naked pictures.
Yeah.
And technically it's actually a criminal offence for a young person under the age of 18 to take a picture and send it to another young person or an adult.
And do you think young people are aware that it is an offence?
No, because it sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? Because it's like the young person's the victim, but if they've taken a picture of themselves that's explicit, it's kind of production of child porn, and if they distribute it, technically distribution. And don't get me wrong, the police they're not gonna be like, right, you made a mistake in your life, we're gonna criminalise you. But it's there. It's a risk that could happen.
Right.
And you've got, I suppose, the topic of bullying.
Yeah.
You know, I suppose...
because you get bullying in schools, but sometimes it can be overlooked, the online aspect of it.
Well, that's at least, in our pre-internet school days, you could leave the school, couldn't you? You'd get a break from it, you'd have friends outside of school.
It's 24 hours a day now.
Spot on. That's the problem. It's hard for kids to escape from it. And sometimes it's just unpleasant content. It's a good idea to have filters, but they're not going to filter out everything. And it's a bit like if you're walking down the street, you might see someone fall over, or the chance of seeing something unpleasant is still going to be there. But I think the online world makes it a bit more prevalent. And there's the idea as well of digital footprints, which is if you do something on the internet, it'll stay there. So you might have a young person who makes a silly video when they're 14 with the friends. That could still be there.
And I'm certainly with you on that one, because we do some of the things that we do is supporting people into work, and just to maybe make young people a little bit more aware of anything that you do now is going to impact on your search for work later on.
That's it. There's things rumbling around the background of the government wanting to make it harder to find that trail from before you're 18. But I can think of some daft things I did when I was 19 and 20s, so it's still, I think, a concept we need young people to be aware of. And it's a challenge for, I think, adults to get their heads around the technical way that predators and these problems are happening.
Technical, but also it's a hard subject to sort of bring up, isn't it?
So, yes, especially stuff around grooming. And if a young person feels they've broken a parent's rule, it can be very hard for them to tell the parents. So I think that's really the key message we want to get across is talk to your children, co-agree rules. And the young person's got to understand them. But they've also got to understand if they make a mistake, they can come and talk to you about it.
It's not something they need to be scared of. Go and talk to your parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's some things parents can do. Checking the age limit on apps.
Yeah.
Like Facebook is 13 plus.
Right.
There's a reason.
Yeah.
Making sure privacy settings are set. I'd say it's certainly worth asking children and young people to show you the privacy settings they're using.
Right.
And explain them to you for each app.
Right.
They need to be very careful not to overshare personal information. Even say like a photograph of a pet, if it's got an ID tag that has your address on.
You can see, yeah.
So
It's not something I would have thought of that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's things like that, because, you know, online predators are crafty.
Looking for every sort of angle that they can.
Yeah, and you know, parents, you've got so many things to think about. Those predators are thinking about, you know, how to exploit people.
And get that information.
Yeah, 24/7. So as much as we can help parents and community stay ahead of these tips and tricks, the easier it is for parents to help keep the kids safe. And there can be things like with the sexting, it's peer pressure.
Oh yes, definitely.
Oh, I know. It's not easy being a teenager, is it? And then the additional pressure the internet puts on. But it's things as well, if kids are going to have social media profiles, don't have the picture that shows their age.
Yeah.
And just be aware that even though young people are technologically savvy, they're socially naive.
Yeah. And it's that balance there then, isn't it? And that's probably where parents, community should be supporting young people to give them that social awareness.
Exactly. And that's where the communication comes in. And it's important to find out what the young people are talking about online, who their friends are online. And yes, there's a role for filters, but don't rely on them.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the conversation. It's also worth thinking about limiting connected time.
Yeah.
And having internet activity happen in a supervised space such as the living room.
Yeah.
If it's behind a locked bedroom door,
Bedrooms, yeah.
You know, you don't really know what's happening. And I think this is a hard one sometimes for parents as well. Consider your own online actions.
Yes. As adults, we've got to show an example, haven't we?
Well, and it's don't embarrass your kid. I can think of, you know, some maybe nights out pictures that might be quite funny for you, but are mortally embarrassing for your child.
Lead by example, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Just a bit. So you know, wider consideration there. And it's knowing what to do when things go wrong. Yeah. But I'll say it again, it's having that conversation with your child.
Yeah.
That is so important.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if I can just stop there, Gail, and just tell people who are watching this film that what are we doing about this important topic? Well, we've created a resource, which you'll be able to link to at the end of this film, which is tips and tricks and ideas for talking to children and young people about this really hard to talk to topic. We've also got a list of the organisations who, if things do go wrong, you can approach them and talk to them about the situation as well. We're also working with community groups such as the Community Shop and parents and young people, just to try and embed the topic of family safety as a community responsibility. And you tell us what your concerns are about the online world. We'll research it, we'll speak to the professionals, and we'll come back and make more films to try and help you get that little bit more confident. So thanks for your time today.